Hello again, it's Monster Forge, and I'm back with another It Came from Aliexpress video. Just wanted to give you guys a little view inside what toys from Aliexpress can entail, what all you get sometimes. And this is a KO, a knockoff of the G1 Hasbro / Takara Jetfire. Jetfire is a character that there was a little bit of controversy back in the day about the licensing with this guy, but what it was is when, if you don't know, the original Transformers toy line was made up of a lot of toys that Hasbro didn't make originally. They basically brought in toys from Japan, from different toy lines like Diaclone, other toy lines like Macross and stuff like that, which that's the case here. This was a toy that Takara, I think, had made in Japan from a cartoon series called Macross. Dimensional Space Fortress, I think, Macross. Anyway, really good anime. But they took the design, this is a Valkyrie, Batroid, like in Macross, what it was, which later became, they brought it over to the United States, the cartoon, and called it Robotech. But these are mech suits that pilots drive, and they fight a war against these aliens that are coming to Earth. But anyway, when they brought the character over to Transformers, the toy was called Jetfire, and it was just a simple they used the same molds and everything, pretty close to the same colors that were on the actual Macross figure, and basically called him Jetfire. And then whenever, like the first commercial that came out for the Jetfire toy, they had a bit of animation and he looked like this with this particular face and everything. I think Takara or whatever company made the cartoon. I don't think Takara didn't make the cartoon, but whoever made the cartoon, they had a big issue, and they were like, no, you can't use that. You can just make the toy. And so when it came time to make the character of Jetfire in the cartoon, they changed his name to Skyfire, and they changed his look drastically. But in the toy stores, this is what you got. You got Jetfire. And, well, this is a knockoff of the original Jetfire. I don't have the original. I've always wanted one, but just couldn't afford one of those G1 ones. They're nice. Got a lot of die-cast metal in them, but anyway, that's a toy that I will only ever be able to play with in my childhood, and it was my friends. Never had one. But anyway, what you got when you were a kid looked like this, and so it looked like the fighters from Macross. And later on, you know, my buddy and I had played with Jetfire, and we knew Skyfire from the cartoon. And then later on, I saw the Robotech cartoon, and I was like, whoa, that's the toy that my buddy has. And, you know, it never, the Robotech cartoon, it was out here, and the toys never really took off or anything. They never made a transforming, good size Valkyrie from Robotech. So the closest you got was having Jetfire. But enough of the history lesson here. This is a KO of the original, and it's got some remolding on it. It's got some stuff that was not on the original. The quality's nowhere near as good as the original either, but I don't really care, because I don't really play with toys anymore. I just more collect them and enjoy them. Transformers is the closest I get to playing with toys, because I transform them, and they're interactive in that way. But let's take a look at him a little bit. He's really cool with his white. Now, the original Jetfire was all white with red accents. I think the feet were black on the original. but like the doors over the landing gear, the legs, I think even the hands were white. So he was a stark white guy with some red. Like the Jetfire had red on him, different paint applications on him that were red. This one came with some weird faction symbol on him, and I replaced it with an Autobot sticker. I didn't remove the other, so you can actually see there's a little bit of the other under it, but it doesn't bother me too bad. It has this GS11 on everything. Like his gun has GS11 on it. His wings, or his shoulders, I think his wings have GS11. And you can see there's a little bit more of that symbol that was under the Autobot symbol there. I didn't really care about that too much. It'd have been cool if it had been like a Macross, you know, the symbol that were on the jets and Macross, but nonetheless. This sticker I'm going to have to replace because it's peeling now. It's not a very good sticker. But anyway, that's not a big deal. But yeah, that's the details. Like a lot of stuff has been added from that weren't on the original. Like the original didn't have this little symbol, and this is actually sculpted in. I don't know if you can see it. You can see it on the bottom of the wing that it's sculpted in. I don't think those missile pods were on there, and I know that this part wasn't on the original. Other little details, like there's when you get to this wing, there's that little symbol is sculpted in there. I don't think the original had these little slats, this little sculpted detail right here in the visor. I don't think it was in there. I don't remember if it had this little dealio right here. I know that this is new, and there's just other things all over it that are kind of just added on, like this thing right here. I don't know why. I guess they were trying to make it their own thing, but whatever. I don't really care. That's another one I think wasn't on the original one. But he's a cool figure though. He's big. He's not really hefty because he's hollow ABS plastic, but the original one was very weighty because I know that these columns here that hold the legs, they were die cast. I know the landing gear were die cast. I can't remember if the feet were die cast or not, but there was a bunch of die cast parts in the original, and it made for a hefty figure. But anyway, let's look at the articulation. He's got a swivel head. He's got a little bit of a joint there for transformation mostly, but because it's not very tight, you can kind of move it up and down. The antenna, or actually they're in Robotech and Macross, those were cannons. They flip forward, and I'll show you when he's in jet mode. And they're made out of this really rubbery plastic, but they flip forward. And they could even flip forward when they were in the robot mode and be used as extra cannons, but they're used on the bottom of the jet whenever you transform it. He has nice clicky joints that go all the way around. He's got a swivel that goes, or a hinge that goes out to the side. Oh, I don't have any of this stuff where you can see it. Okay. He has clicky joints that go all the way around. Hinge out to the side. He has an elbow that goes like this. He doesn't have, yeah, he does. He's got swivel at the elbow. I remember when I was a kid, he was a lot more articulated than a lot of G1 Transformers. That was one of the things that impressed me. He doesn't have anything at the wrist. His hips are weird because you'd think, oh, well, his hip joint is up here, but it's actually down here. So it looks kind of strange, but when you got the knee going, it's kind of, you can have sort of like a good flight pose. But the knee, both of those are clicky. The hip joint and the knee joint are clicky. His feet, mainly for transformation, they open and close, but they're on a little gear thing, so they both move when you move one, which is nice. He has his gun fell out. He has wings that can open out, so if you wanted to, you could have him with wings while he's in the robot mode. Not really what you usually see with him, but it's your toy. You can do what you want. He comes with the gun that looks a lot like the original Jetfire's gun. I know the Macross version of this gun pushes in. I don't remember if the G1 Transformers one does or not, but it pushes in, and this thing actually would hook onto the bottom of the jet version, or the jet mode of the original Macross or Robotech jets. But that's him. Let's transform him a little bit. Now there's two different transformations. He has three modes. In Transformers, they never really talked about the other mode. They never had him do it in the cartoon, and you know, like I don't remember any of the toy packaging having him in his middle mode. But in Macross and in Robotech, they had a mode. Like, I don't remember what they call it in Robotech. I think the main mode was called Guardian. I don't remember what the other one was, or maybe the middle mode was. But in the original anime, the middle mode of this thing was called a Gerwalk or Gerwalk. I think it's Gerwalk. But the way you would do this is you disconnect the whole back of the thing, and to do the Gerwalk, you keep the arms out like this, and then you fold. It's kind of complicated, but you fold the legs down and under. And one of the things you do too, there's a lot going on at one time. There's a little door right here that you open up, and you can pass the head underneath like that, and then you will move all of this forward and slide this, and that holds everything in place. You put the door back, close that up, and then, because this knockoff isn't really made with all the connecting bits and all, you have to do some finagling. You would turn the guns forward like that with the head back, and then you flip the legs. There's a little ball that's on a spring right there, and it clips into the side, and then you just rotate this all back, and then you can move the legs down. Okay, this is making the Gerwalk or Gerwalk or whatever it is. You do the same over here, and you have to kind of push the arms out of the way, because the original had an accommodation for the arms, but this is a knockoff. How did I get it to do? Oh, it's not even all the way in there. Okay, well, that'll work. Like I said, this is as best as you can do with this knockoff, because it's not made to accommodate it. And you open out the wings and keep the backpack like that, and that is the Gerwalk. And it was supposed to be like the best of two worlds, like it handled like a jet, but it had the capabilities of the robot. It would hold the gun, and they would go into battle like skimming through streets and stuff like that, fighting the aliens. And you can see now the guns are underneath, and it gives you an extra bit of armament. But this is kind of stressing the toy, because it's not really, I don't think that this knockoff is made to be in the Gerwalk mode. I could be wrong, but I don't really see like there's certain parts on here that I don't remember the original having. But anyway, to get him into the jet mode, which is what most people want him in anyway, if you're just pretending he's pretending he is Jetfire, you would move the arms around, and there's like a hinge here, and let's see, it's supposed to go, oh, gotta turn this way. Of course, take the gun out of his hand, and rotate the elbow like this, and the hands fit into, oh, I got it wrong. There you go. And these will actually flip down and clip in underneath. Keep the head like that, or you can turn it the other way if you want to, with the little cockpit thing going forward. But then you rotate the whole leg back, and it will click in place. There's another detent right here. There's another detent right here for that ball to click into, and you straighten the legs out and fold the feet up like that. And you do the same over here. This is, if you're familiar with Transformers and Jetfire, you know what's going on here. But if you're not, it's new to you. You take this backpack that was on him and flip it down, and then flip out the wings. And something is a little bit off on this KO, because it doesn't sit down like it's supposed to. I don't know exactly what it is, but whatever. But the wings fly out like that, and you got a pretty sweet looking jet. That right there, that jet was my dream vehicle when I was a kid. Like because I loved Robotech. When I was a kid, I never saw the original anime. I saw Robotech, which was brought over to the States, and to me, I thought it was the most adult cartoon I had ever seen. It probably was the most adult cartoon I had ever seen. It was anime, and it would dealt the show was about war and how horrible war is and everything that goes along with that. But just a cool looking jet. And you know, if you were a kid and you didn't have the jet from G.I. Joe, you could always pretend this was that jet. It was a Sky Striker, I think. But it has landing gear that are spring loaded. And I remember when I was a kid, this landing gear was die-cast metal, and if you weren't careful and you pushed that thing, oh, that thing would hit you right in the thumb, and that thing, it had some power behind it. And this one does too. I was shocked when I saw just how powerful the springs were on the landing gear, but the landing gear works, and it rolls, just like the original, and it works really well. There's no way to attach the gun to the bottom of the jet like it was with the original. I guess you could do that, but that doesn't really, let's see. I guess it holds okay. I don't think that's the intention, was for that to stick in there, but I mean, hey, you can get it, do it. But I think that the original, and maybe Jetfire did too, I don't know because I didn't have him, but I think the one that was made by Takara or Bandai, whoever made the original, I think it had like a little clip thing that the gun could clip onto and held it under there. I've seen pictures of one being clipped on there, and I've seen you can get 3D printed ones that clip on. But one of the major differences between this and the original Jetfire is that Jetfire came with a lot of extra parts. Armor that fit over the legs here. It went over the arms. There was a backpack on here that had 2 cones on the front of it with like jets in the back. And it really augmented the look of that. And that was something that carried over from Macross. But this didn't come with that. This was just the jet by itself. And getting an original Jetfire is, it costs you quite a bit to get an original. And if you can afford it, that's fine. I can't. And so this was as close as I could get to that. And I'm happy with it. I'm really happy. I have a Skyfire from my regular Transformers collection, but this is part of my new and building or rebuilding of G1 with knockoff stuff, and that's fine with me. And I just think it looks really good. It feels really good in the hand. I don't know. Just a cool jet. Now, it was on Aliexpress when I got it. It was like, the original price was like $20 or something for it, shipped. And I used coupons or whatever and got some off of it. And I think it was like one of those days where they have special deals. So just keep an eye on AliExpress. They always have some kind of deal on different things. But I got it for a lot less. And what I do is I put stuff in like a wish list. And when I see the prices drop on my wish list stuff, if it's a good enough drop, I'll go ahead and get it. And that's what I did. I had this guy sitting in the wish list for a long time. I think I wound up paying like, with him shipped, I think it was like $15. And to me, that's plenty fine. I love this figure. I love the character. I always like the idea of a Decepticon that was a scientist. Before the time when the war started between the Autobots and Decepticon, he was a scientist working for the Decepticons, and he was tricked by Starscream and Megatron and all into believing that the Autobots were bad guys, and so he was basically gaslit into being a Decepticon fighting the Autobots. But when he saw how caring the Autobots were and how they weren't evil and they didn't have any malice in their hearts, he turned and became an Autobot. And I just always like that. You know, I like that kind of redemption arc stuff in a character. And he fits the bill for me. But it's nice having him. You know, I always like the toy, the G1 toy. I've liked other versions of him too. But the G1 toy, I always loved it. I always liked the simple complexity of it. And I always wanted to have one, and now I do. It's not quite the same as having the G1, but I'm happy with it. And I hope you are happy with this review. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up, thumbs down if you didn't like it. Like, subscribe, comment. All those things help me out. And so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another edition of It Came from Aliexpress. Goodbye.